everyone. Peace. It is good to see everyone here today. How is everyone doing? Peace. Come right on in. We have a great conversation getting started. If you can hear me okay, just let me know in the chat if you can hear me okay. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to get started. I think, okay, good. Thank you everyone for letting me know. I am MaatSpeaks, and here at MaatSpeaks, anyone that is new to the channel, come right on in and let me know that you are new to the channel. But I just want to welcome back everyone to MaatSpeaks. And if you are new, remember that here at MaatSpeaks, we aim to bring balance back to our communities through the principles of Ma'at. So first, we do that by harmonizing with ourselves, bringing that balance to ourselves, and then we try to harmonize with our families and then ultimately our communities. So come right on in. And we have a really wonderful conversation, a great guest today. I've been, subscribed to him for a little while, and I will introduce him just a moment. Before I get started, we are going to do a little housekeeping here. So remember that you can donate to the channel in a few ways. So remember, you can donate through my Cash App, which is MaatSpeaks, or my Venmo, which is MaatSpeaks, and my PayPal is Gen Health Revolution. You can also buy me a cup of tea at buymeacoffee.com/MaatSpeaks. And then don't forget that you can head over to my website, which is Generational Health Revolution, and also my Instagram is also Generational Health Revolution. Okay, so we got that out of the way. We are going to see who has joined the conversation today. Let's take a quick look at the chat here. So we have TWP Popcorn. Thank you for always coming through and showing your support. I appreciate you. And of course, my love husband, thank you for always being here and taking care of the chat for me. Thank you. And we have Andy Jackson back into the chat. Peace, Andy. Glad to see you here today. And Gail at night, it's so good to see you. Peace to you, sister. I appreciate you being here. And none other than Arshawn. Peace, Arshawn. I'm so happy to see you in the chat today. So we are going to get started with today's conversation. And before we begin, I just want to remind everyone as you enter, make sure to hit that like button, share this really good conversation that we're going to have today, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Also, make sure to share this conversation or any other conversation on MaatSpeaks with others so that they can get some great conversation. So you let's see okay, so now we are going to start, and I'd like to tell you every time before we start a conversation that sometimes conversations we get deep over here, and I just want you to make sure that as you prepare to open your minds, we have been given a filter that most of are accustomed to seeing through, so we often jump to defend only what we know and forget that there is so much that we don't know. So it's very important to study, research before trying to defend what you don't know. It's always great to ask questions, engage in these healthy conversations. And this platform was designed for us to learn, to build with one another, build within our communities. So we want to educe a different perspective so we can consciously heal ourselves, name ourselves in a way that is native to who we are. And so let's get some more healing. This month, we're going to be focusing on some spiritual conversations, really to edify our community. So let's get started. I have a special guest. It's Brother King Simon. He will be joining me today, and he will be, he will be teaching us some things today. I haven't had this type of conversation on here before, so I'm very excited about it. So welcome for the first time on MaatSpeaks. We have Brother King Simon on the stage.
Hotep, 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 hotep. Shalom, assalamu alaikum, all of that.
Peace to you, brother. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you are a busy man, so I'm glad that you could fit me in.
Thank you very much. I'm appreciative of your audience, appreciative of what you do. Just with the word ma'at, I have the principles of ma'at hanging right here with me, so I know how this is. And this was given to me by Baba Heru Samala.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is his remix of it actually. So
Mhm.
very interesting, very interesting. So thank you very much for accommodating. Just the name ma'at in numerology. In both systems have the balance numbers of either 6 or 8, and each one of those even numbers deal with that. So that's good. That's good. It's always good to understand the correlations to mathematics and how these esoterical mathematical systems can be very beneficial. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. So, for those that do not know you here at MaatSpeaks, just tell us a bit about you, what you do, your
Okay.
channel, and all that good stuff.
Well, I have two channels. King Simon presents Only Quality People, and the other channel is Numbers Are Simple with King Simon. Well, I've been a promoter and producer for many years. I've been from New York. I now live in Georgia, but I've been also into numbers since the 80s, but officially got into writing books around 2012 as promoted and pushed by one of my teachers, Lloyd Strayhorn, and another influential person from my past was Brother Polite, also that pushed me to write my books. So he was the one that published my first book, actually. And then when he left and went to where he had to go to and do what he has to do, I remixed it and republished my first book. So I'm an author also. The first book was called No Promotion is Bad Promotion. All publicity is good publicity. Just spell my name right. That was published. 3 of my books was published by Dr. Laila Africa, the late, great Dr. Laila Africa, one of my teachers, who was one of those people that was the first to really recognize and decide to publish all 3 of my books first. And then my last book is Numerovation for Mental Stability. But I'm promoter, producer, publisher. I do a lot. It's a lot, So I've been doing it for a long time, and I've been promoting since I was 12. But professionally, I've been promoting since I was in 1995. So 27, almost 30 years. So I am a promoter and producer for years. I've been on every major stage in New York City except the Buckley, because I had retired from the club and the live performance shows and all that kind of stuff. And that's when I wrote that first book. It's called No Promotion is Bad Promotion. I wrote about my life in promotion and how people should be able to promote from a small level to a large level, because I've worked Madison Square Garden and all different types of venues. So I've been well known throughout the New York scene on radio and on television also back in the day.
Okay, that is quite a resume. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
So we're going to do you know Mrs. Say It Real?
All don't pay KKK as though. No, I don't know her, but
Okay.
I mean, Stone Mountain, is what's so interesting about Stone Mountain is that I made sure that I live right around the corner from one of the indigenous funerals, burial grounds. And what is so interesting about it, that the person that owns that part of the land now, a Jamaican guy, allows people to come and actually give homage to the original people here and the indigenous. So that's what's so interesting about that. So what I've learned to do is tap into the original landmass of Stone Mountain, because when I moved here, what's so interesting about it, the person that I rent this facility from, I slept here one night, and the roots of all the trees became all the wood in the house and came to me and grabbing towards me in a healing fashion. So that's what made me decide to move here.
Mm.
And I knew when I started feeding trees and feeding the things and hugging trees around here,
Mm-hmm.
ancestors are talking. So when somebody like her, the sister, refers to it as KKK, when the land was here before the KKK, it don't make sense to me, because all we have to do, because most of the work is spiritual, and if we put in our spiritual work and do the necessary spiritual work, we can offset all that stuff that's going on. This mountain is made out of a quartz crystal. If you Google it up, you'll find that. And I think the energy is still able to be used. Now, whatever agendas other people may have, I respect their agendas, because some people, yeah, there's the KKK, the Confederate. And as I've studied history from all my elders, the Confederate flag was originally black folks, just like the swastika was originally black until they flipped it. So it is what it is. So we need to learn how to flip things back.
Mm-hmm.
Because our voodoo or hoodoo or magic or African science is much more powerful than European science, much more powerful than European hoodoo and white magic, much more powerful. But when you get into all of the semantics, Dr. Khalid, when I was in the Nation of Islam, Dr. Khalid used to teach us in the FOI. And the brother used to say, he's born January 12th, so he was very outspoken. And Dr. Khalid used to say, there's a thing called the concentric circle. And the Adinkra symbol is like the love symbol, where it has the dot in the middle, and then there's another line outside, and then another line outside of that. That's how he described the concentric circle, where there's hardcore spirituality. Then you have your politicians, then you have your religious leaders, then all of these different lines represent something. So I will implore upon those people that like to say this is, like Stone Mountain KKK, please go to the ancient African and indigenous symbols and systems to help offset that. Do what you do, because you don't want nobody to support and pay in to the mountain and all that kind of stuff, which from when I started learning it now, that there is a free entrance to get into Stone Mountain, I do it. I go into free entrance. But it's so important that we learn to not, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when I was in the Nation, they always used to say that the Europeans or the devil is as insignificant to us as a string on our finger. That's why back in the day, he was able to build hospitals right here in Georgia, in different places of Georgia, all over Savannah, this part of Georgia, in these areas of Georgia. They understood. They even met back in the day with the KKK to establish, because you got to establish certain things with the devil. That's why in the theology of the mythology of Solomon was able to control the jinn. And a lot of us have forgotten how to control the jinn, because the jinn don't control us unless we let it control us in our actuality. So in that note, it's very important that we do all the different levels, because the battle is battle, and the spiritual and the soulful battle is much more powerful if we learn to utilize it. That's how Haiti and that's how the Maroons was able to defeat those French and those English and those Spanish back in the day. And those that was the Maroons of America was able to use our science. So we got to get back to the science. And that's what I do with numerovation. But my system of numerology or numerovation is more to motivate the person to be their very best. That's what I call.
I think I lost you. You're breaking up. Let's see if you can see.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think we just went live.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, that African magic is always working, babe. So I'm with the magic. with the magic. with the Go ahead.
There was a sister who talked about Stone Mountain as well. I think Isis Wisdom. She talked about it and said, because I live in Georgia too. We moved about a year and a half ago, and so she was saying
Mhm.
also to go to Stone Mountain because she said that because of the ancestors, the ancestors that are there, and she said like almost immediately when you start meditating there, you're gonna
Oh,
get
yes.
downloads like almost instantly, because of so much of the ancestral energy that's there. So, but I do want to ask some questions because so you already brought up numerology and numerovation. So is there a difference? What's the difference in what you in that science?
No, no, do me a favor. We're breaking up a lot, especially from my side. So what I'm going to do is take myself off and come back
Oh,
on.
okay,
Okay.
go ahead. Mhm.
Okay. We'll be good. All right. I'll come back on. No problem.
All right. So we're gonna wait for him to come back on. Let's see here. Um, all right, family, bear with us as we get this going here. All right, so buffering. Well, I don't know if I said peace to the everyone came through. Peace to my sister Hanifa. Peace to you. And then peace to Nova Rain. Peace to you. Thank you for coming through. So we are going to be talking about this month. I'm just going to give him some time to come back on. But this month we're talking about spirituality. So I guess I'll give you a little template of what'll be going on this month. So this month today, he's kicking it off. Next week I have another brother coming on. He's going to be speaking about his book and also about it's going to be about why he left Christianity, so he's going to be talking about that. And we're going to be talking about some other things with that, but he did write a book, so we're going to be talking about his book a little bit. Okay, I see King Simon is back, so let's continue.
Good. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sound great.
I have to come into my studio. Stop playing. The studio area, the studio part. I got like 7 computers. So that's what it is. Now, what were you asking, please? And let's
Yeah,
first of all, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for allowing me to be here. Thank you. Go ahead.
so the difference between numerology and numerovation, what is the difference between that?
Well, numerovation is a word that I submitted into the lexicon dictionary as using 2 words, 2 different disciplines: the science of numerology, which is the numeral, and vation from motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I create, because I studied under Les Brown for a good month back in 2005, and I've studied various other motivational speakers. So when you do a session with me, I am more about activating and not reading. I don't want to read you. I don't care to read grown people.
Mm-hmm.
They're especially grown children I could read because they don't know themselves, or they don't know the patterns, cycles, and sequences that they may understand yet. But most of us already know our GPS. We
Okay.
know it. Some of us use the GPS to get home, and you just 5 blocks away from home.
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense to me. And so one of my teachers, Lloyd Strayhorn, he does astronumerology, where he connects the astrology and the numerology. And I do some of that, but I stay focused on the numbers, because the numbers itself can give you a bird's eye view real quick, definitively, without me going to a ephemeris and all that kind of stuff. I just need the numbers, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't care which part of the world you're in, whether you have a 4,000 year calendar, or a 5,000 year once, or a Moorish calendar that might be 15,000 years. You know what I'm saying? I can use the numbers any way you present them to me and help give guidance. And if you take on the guidance, it does take work. If you're not willing to put in the work, I don't let people waste my time if they're not willing to put in work, because it does take work. So numerology is a word that came up in 1907 by a Dr. Staton, but it came from numeromancy or arithmomancy those those things that they deemed divination and fortune telling. But
Right.
what happens is when you the study of numbers is any application of numbers. That's why it's called numerology,
Mhm.
biology, zoology. So anything you put an ology behind, it's a study of. So even the use of finding out the statistics and statistics of YouTube or IG on that, that's a study of numbers because you're looking for the numbers. You're looking to see where. So anytime you apply numbers to it, that's numerology. So that's a vast subject. But when it
Right.
came to numerovation, I decided to connect the numbers connected to your birthday and your name, which I consider a mathematical GPS personally for yourself, and then use it to let you know that each one of those numbers have a certain frequency that you can turn on, just like a radio station. When you want to go to your favorite radio station and hear your R&B or your hip hop, you go to 98.7 this or 105 point this. Your particular number is that number that you can turn on, and if it hits the right channel and you decide to turn up and crank up the volume, then you can crank up any one of your numbers in your name or your birthday, because in your name it reveals your gifts, your talents, your skills, and the expression and the soul urge. In your birthday, it reveals the pinnacle, the alignment, the achievement. It also reveals your life path, and it reveals also your personality. So once our great ancestors came up with a lot of this, and then of course it developed over years from the Chaldean or before the Chaldeans. Then you had the Chaldean, then you have Pythagorean that went and studied for over 22 years and then came back and became the father of numerology. Then I have a book that John Henry Clark did the forward to, and this book is called Africa Speaks, Africa Counts.
Mm.
Interesting book, the numbers and patterns in African culture. So it
Mm.
take you back to the Sankofa symbols and all that kind of stuff and recognizing patterns. So that's why I never call numerology psychic. It's not a psychic thing, but but because we apply the pattern cycles and sequences from the past, present, and future, whether connected to your family or your relationships and all that, it can seem like it's psychic. It has a predictive methodology that can lead you to the right path and where you need to go, but we don't call it psychic because it's not. But it helps to develop your intuitive faculties, because when it comes to numbers, we can all look at certain things and certain things happening in the news or certain things happening. They might call it gematria, they might call it Kabbalah and all that kind of stuff. And I've studied, I got the books and all the stuff on that, but I want to keep it simple,
Mhm.
because if I can keep it simple that a 5-year-old to an 85-year-old can understand it, then it will be helpful.
Mhm.
And my premise doing numerovation, that's why I wrote the book, Numerovation for Mental Stability. I wrote this book because there was a lot of people that did not understand the importance of using their actual mathematical GPS, which is their birthday and their name, because every name can be transmuted to a number. Every letter can be transmuted to a number. So
Mm.
once we learn how to use that and learn to apply the interpretations that has been studied over time, that has been repeatable, measurable, and observed over time, then we can teach it. Then we can show people how to use it to be their very best. That's how I wrote my first book, No Promotion is Bad Promotion. And the particular year that I wrote it in, I understood the cycles. I understood my cycles of depression. And when I do get depressed, I can just consult the numbers and say, oh, I'm on the depressive frequency at this time. And sometimes I'm not one of those people like the movie 23, that 23 this, 23 that, blah, 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 no, I don't do that. I'm not one of
Right.
those people.
Mhm.
I live. As people come see me on IG, I have fun. I enjoy. I've been in the life. I've been a party. I love to party. I love to see people enjoy. That's why I produce events and produce lectures. But it's so important for people to be numerovated or use their mathematics, because their mathematics, as far as their birthday and their numbers, is applied mathematics. And if you apply them, they can guide you. And these are the numbers that we've been hearing about since we was a child.
Mhm.
Everybody wanted to celebrate your birthday when you finally got to know yourself. Everybody knew your name when you finally got to know your name. Even choosing a name like Ma'at is significant to what's connected to you and
Mhm.
why you chose that name. Me choosing King, it wasn't because of king and royalty. I chose King because of the Kin, kit and
Mhm.
kin in my bloodline. My father was a promoter. My cousin was a promoter. I am a promoter.
Mhm.
I was born in a nightclub. And I was born in the year of promotion, 67, 1967, adds up to 23, which is a 5, which is a year of promotion.
Mhm.
Duh. It just makes sense. Go ahead, Sister Maya.
So you said something about cycles. So are
Yes.
there, like, with the seasons changing? Because I know, like,
Hmm.
around this time of year, um,
Yes.
I know my energy starts going down, and I know that that has a connection, like, with the sun and everything.
Right. Right.
But is there can we apply the same thing with the months and then understand the cycles that
Yes.
we're going through?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And but remember, there's multiple systems of using numbers.
Okay.
One of the systems that I wrote in my book called Numerovation for Mental Stability is the symbols of what the Rosicrucian knowledge of numerology wrote about, that there's 7 cycles of 52 days that happen all throughout the year. So each
Mm,
one of these cycles represents something that you can be in for the next 52 days. Like before, like the first day, as soon as your birthday come in, that first cycle is called the reputation cycle. All right.
mhm,
So that's a good time for you to build your reputation and do certain things to get in a leadership role or even take surgery at that time, because that's when you're at a better, higher frequency. See,
mhm.
what people need to understand, Sister Ma'at, is that we've been prone and taught that our new year is January 1st from
Right.
this fiscal new year. Then
Mhm,
from of course natural new year, they talk about the spring being that new year. But when it comes to the person born on a particular day, your personal new year is your birthday. So your birthday starts off this reputation cycle.
mhm,
And then the reputation after that 52 days, then it's the journey cycle. And then after that 52 days is the energy cycle. And after that 52 days is the mental cycle. After that 52 days, there's a success cycle. And after that 52 days is a vacation cycle. And the seventh and last cycle before your birthday is called the critical cycle. And
mm,
usually the critical cycle is when you want to do some critical cleansing, critical reminder, reflection, and removal of people, place, and things that no longer serve your purpose, or finish what you start, or finish some type of project before your new beginning birthday starts again.
mhm,
See,
mhm,
that's how I use the numbers as far as patterns, cycles, and sequences. Even the months, like you said, like this is the month of November. Originally, November comes from nueve, which is the number 9. So
mhm,
I utilize even sometimes the old way, the old Latin ways of what this this month resonated, so you can understand. But yet 9/11 is seen there, because
mm,
it used to be nueve, 9/11, 9, and now it's the 11th month. Recognize the 9/11. That's why Dr. Africa taught me years ago and taught many of us to look at things from a holistic perspective. When
right.
numbers start popping up, I do not just add it up to one number and one digit. So you could be born on the 12th and you tell me I'm a number 3, King Simon. I said, no, you're not just a number 3, babe. You are a 1, 2, and 3. Easy as
Mm,
1, 2, 3. A, B, C, easy as 1, 2, 3, if you know how to break it down. See, so I look at all the frequencies where most numerologists will just break it down. The only thing they won't break down is master numbers like 11 and 22. But even when I see master numbers 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, I break it down to the single digit, because most of us that are born under master numbers or connected to master numbers don't even understand how to get to their masterful state.
mm,
you know,
mhm,
you see what I'm saying? So
mhm,
you have to. So they by default go to the lesser frequency of the master number. So people could be born on the 22nd, but yet go to the lesser frequency and become a 4, which they become more hard-headed and stubborn and
mhm,
second guessing themselves and indecisive. Or or they could be born on the 11th and they fall down to a number 2. They're oversensitive. They're crybabies. All that kind of stuff can happen
mm,
until you recognize that even in martial arts, and I've trained martial arts since I was young, you have to put in the 10,000 hours to be a master,
right, right.
or 5,000, depending on how fast you develop. If you're an anomaly, I understand. But it's not, as I'm speaking of master numbers, people, it's not by coinky dink that the 33 is known as the Christ energy, because it's a healing and teaching and jovial, optimistic number. It's
Mhm,
not by coincidence that the word Moses or the name Moses add up to the master number 22, or the name Ruth or the name Jesus adds up to the master number 11, or the name Muhammad, spelled Muhammad, adds up to 29, which equals 11. It's not by coincidence. That
Wow.
means the lexicon writers of those Bibles that are translated from the original language understood the
Mm,
mathematics, the Kabbalah, or the gematria of it. They
mm,
understood. That's why they made them masters. Go figure.
mm,
The name David is a master number. Go figure. How does
mm,
this work? So when you start seeing the patterns and the cycles and the sequences and these things continually popping up, repetitiveness, then you start observing it in people, your family, friends, and things around you, observation, and now you start seeing these different things. Now it becomes something that you can teach and guide people with because you keep on seeing the patterns of it showing up, both
mm,
positive and negative.
mm.
I'm
So,
not new to this, I'm true to this.
right. So when it comes to, because I know a lot
Yes.
of emphasis is put on the words like to use with manifesting.
Yes.
So can you use the how would you do that? Would you use specific words that carry specific like numbers in order to use that, I mean, in a way to manifest?
You can do that. And you know, we know a lot of manifestation meditations and all that kind of stuff. We know
Mm-hmm.
about that. And each one of them have, because they all are connected to different each letter is connected to a number. Yes, you can, once you, if you did the mathematics to it, you'll find a frequency connected to manifest or imagination or or greatness. There's always like the word community adds up, and I wrote that down because the word community adds up to a number 18, which is a 9 in the Pythagorean system, but a number 20 in the Chaldean system. But both those numbers, although they can be contradictory as far as the vibration and the elements of the number 9 means that in communities, you're supposed to strive to be at a higher level in life, being willing to take each other to a next level in your life, because number 9 is the highest number on the single digit. But on the negative of the number 9, there can be shootings, killings, police, all of that can be happening in a community because that's the negative of the number 9. War, destruction. That's why the ancient Chaldeans, which were the darker hue people that lived between Ur and Chaldea and all those places that right over there near going into Kemet, those particular people didn't add the 9 because they knew when the number 9 show up, it's either going to be universal love, higher understanding, or it's going to be destruction. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I have a book right here, good book to get, people should get, called The Black Chaldeans,
Mm,
by John Brinson. Like I said, I apply what I study, and I'm always learning and studying. That's why I don't call me a master nothing. I'm a master student because I'm always willing to have my glass half full so I can still put some more water inside there and drink. You know what I'm saying, sister?
uh-huh. So is that because I know when I first heard the phrase
Yes.
years ago when the Black Lives Matter movement
Mm.
started, I always felt that that wasn't a great phrase because it was more like we want to be seen. We
Mm-hmm.
want to, it's this kind of like this this validation that we're seeking
Mm-hmm.
because like I matter, my husband matters, my children matter. So
Mm-hmm.
we understand that. I understand those affirmations, but it seems like it's more of the opposite with the Black Lives Matter phrase. What do you think about that?
Well, BLM and its abbreviation adds
Hmm.
up to a number 9.
Okay.
Go figure.
Hmm.
Both high and low, it can
Hmm.
it can manifest itself. So
Right.
abbreviation is very important. So
Hmm.
Black lives, we know, do matter.
Right.
Just like what Kanye did, white lives matter to white folks. Just like it matters. Let's be
Right.
real. Like Asian, Chinese people matter. Let's
Mhm.
be real. So once and those cultures are supposed to, but yet the wording is important and was needed to be said, but it's needed to be taken in from people who understand it on a deeper level, because many of us have gone through, especially I'm born in the late 60s, so I'm coming right off of Malcolm X and them getting killed and Martin
Mhm.
Luther King about to get killed and all that kind of stuff, and Medgar Evers. So we know Black lives do matter, but
Mhm.
when let's say the behind the scenes people that are running it, we don't know their agenda. at the
Mm.
end of the day. But when you go to their website, you see some of their agenda. It
Right.
tells you what they got to do, what they
Mm.
got to do. So now we have to reassess and look at things. So when it comes to Black Lives Matter, I have nothing wrong. I have nothing wrong with the words Black Lives Matter, because it
Okay.
does matter. But when it becomes an agenda and people start using it for other means, that's
Mhm.
when things can become, you know, different. It's just like the word. It's just like the name Jesus. You know how many
Mhm.
people have killed in the name of Jesus?
Right.
In crusades and wars and all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. Come on. But we
Right.
know Jesus was only be poor, but we know Jesus also turned over tables and he was ready to fight. He had his disciples had swords and ready to cut people's heads off and all kinds of stuff. Then he told them, look, put down the sword. This is not happening right now. Calm down. I know I got this. But he was ready. So there's a duality with a lot of these words. And
Mm.
once you understand the duality, those that have internal deeper knowledge should be able to use that frequency for what it means. It's just like there was a big debate on my children's feed. I have 9 children and 12 grandchildren, right?
Mm.
So on my free, I posted something on my page called pro life.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, I was not paying attention to all the madness. I don't pay attention. I have filters that I don't even pay attention to all the news and what Trump is doing, all that foolishness. But because they do, my daughters, only my daughters, not my son, my daughters came in about pro-life and all that because they're being infiltrated and taught in school what pro-life means in this day and time. When
Yeah.
in my time, pro-life meant saving the earth, stop
Mm.
killing the water and destroying the water, stop destroying the air. In my time, not about women, because we've always in ancient society we had herbs that can cause abortions back in the day. They got to stop playing with this. We knew and understood what that was. We been knew understood the difference between life and death and all that kind of stuff. This is something new that our young people are taking upon themselves to fight over and argue. I had a big and so to save face and be cool. I told them what it meant from my perspective, and I
Mhm.
said, you know what? I'll change that logo just to show you that I'm a bigger person than that, but I understand what pro-life means from my perspective. And I had man, woman, child, ma'at, the balance
Right.
in the
Right.
picture. So they
Mm.
got, they was talking all kinds of stuff, but they was giving me talking points from
Mhm.
what they're learning in the media. So our
Yeah.
children are being infiltrated in their mind against not and some of them are not taking the deep studies. They're not willing to go in the books when back in the day we had to go into the libraries and give our library
Right.
card.
Right.
You can Google up there, and the Google is all connotative meaning. It's not even denotative meaning. It's not even going to the etymology of things. It
Mhm.
takes you on the surface.
Right.
And that's what the problem is with just Google. That's why I always tell people, yeah, Google is your friend, but you got to cross reference.
Mhm.
Even with numerology, I had to cross reference to find out how am I telling you Pythagoras is the father of numerology when the word was founded in 1907. Pythagoras was way before that.
Mhm.
I'm cross-referencing.
Right.
Now, when you start seeing numbers and patterns and all that, yeah, Pythagoras was the father in Greece and
Mhm.
for Rome, but not for us. We've
Right.
been doing this. That's why we was building temples. So it gets sometimes you just got to take a deep breath
Yeah.
and just relax and say, you know
So,
what? Go ahead,
um,
sister. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're good. You're teaching you're teaching us. So, how do we apply? Okay, so
Go ahead.
we kind of know how to apply it to self.
Right.
How now can we apply it in relationships or in families and
Okay.
family dynamics?
Very good. Because every number has a well sought out and studied interpretation.
Mhm.
It's just like you don't. This is what I want you to do. I'm gonna show you right in front of your face right now.
Okay.
I just need the date of birth that you're born, not the month. I just need the date that you're born. What's the date?
9/2, September 2nd.
All right, I just need the two. So I already know you got that love and energy. The word ma'at, which is so interesting, in both systems, the Chaldean and the Pythagorean system, the vowels add up to the number 2.
Mm.
That and 2 is the number of balance, harmony, companionship, love. You're a
Mhm.
very loving person. In other words, whoever your husband is, he has to give you a lot of love, show you love at least every day, at least give you 2 kisses and 2 hugs a day. He
Yep.
got to show appreciation to you, period, because that's your energy. You don't like fighting. You could go there because of your September energy, that 9 energy can go there, but you don't want to go there. You rather stay on a higher loving frequency. Now,
Yeah,
when is his?
tell
Just give
me,
me his.
son.
Just give me his date. Listen, don't give me the month and date. Just give me the day. The day.
February 4th, 2/4.
He's a 4. All right. See, I'm February 1st, so I know what this is.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but now this is how I deal with the personalities.
Mm-hmm.
When I add the day you're born, which is a 2, and his is born a 4, it equals a number 6. So 6 deals with balance, ma'at, truth, justice, reciprocity, and healing. So both of you more than likely have to sometimes take a time out to sit with each other and deal with each other in a more loving and balanced to understand and not, and that in your strength you will do y'all need to always maintain balance. If y'all got hard-headed and went against the balance, that's when
Mm-hmm.
y'all could throw somebody could be hard-headed sometimes, especially at number 4. I already know he could be something else, but because sometimes 4 is such a rigid number. They're very rigid and hardcore, and they're very calculated. I
Mm-hmm.
already know they know that's how the
Yep.
4 is. 4 is
Yep.
a builder. They're structured. They
Yep.
they right there. So I understand. And you want to flow because that number 2 is like a
Yep.
water energy. That just stop playing. Come on, baby. It's not that deep. I already know what it is just by looking at your number. So, but if you subtract the 2, if you subtract the 2 plus the 4 equals 2, when you're off balance, so you can that's when problems can arise. That's why both of y'all need to always practice balance, love, truth, justice, reciprocity, and forgiveness.
Mm.
That's only way your relationship. And I stopped. Let me. And before people start hitting me up for relationship consultation, I stopped doing consultation for relationship. Why?
Oh, okay.
Because I found that most partners are not serious. And especially the men. And I'm sorry, brothers, y'all are not serious when y'all come to me. Some of these men be trying to throw 2 or 3 women in my box and tell me, yo, I got this woman, this woman, this woman. Which one will work for me better? I'm like, nah, what are
Oh my
you doing?
goodness.
And women do it. Women does it. Women did it too, but they
Yeah.
don't do it as much.
Right.
Like they got options. Okay, the brothers got options, but don't throw all these different numbers at me talking about which one would be better for my number because I'm born such and such and such and such and blah, 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 blah. And I could do it, but I don't want to do it because I'm about building the morale through the numbers and why you need to understand the dynamics of using. Now, everybody is not monogamous. Everybody's not polygamous. Everybody's not polyamorous. I just had Paul Mooney's son on last night on my show, the polyamorous man, and he was breaking it down. So I'm just letting people know some people are going to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
But and I tell these brothers who want to be that way, you got to know the rules and regulation. I know most of our teachers that were polygamous and they only have one woman today. Why? Why is that? Because at the end of the day, like the Quran says, and I've read all them books, it says you can have up to 4, but it's best for you to just have 1. If you only knew, why would that scripture say that?
Mm-hmm.
It's best for you to have 1 if you only knew. If you only knew what? About the woman? Yes, if you only really knew what that woman is capable of, if you just had that 1 and build up that 1 to her greatest status, she will give you 1,000%.
Oh, you preach it.
Oh, I'm good at this. I'm not new to this. But there's people that are polygamous that have worked well for years in it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't fight it. You just got to know your pedigree. You got to know what woman you dealing with. You got to know what man you dealing with. I was in the party life. I had multiple women. I know that. But it was only in the party life. I didn't try to bring it to the whole relationship stuff. That's crazy. And not all of them I was making love to. But I understood. So it's so important that the numbers can help give you guidance to help you understand not just relationship with your man or your woman, but also with your mama, with your daddy, with your child, with your cousin, with your friend, with your business partner. The ups, the downs, the twos, the fro's, the if, the ands, the buts. Numbers help give you guidance. And if there's 2 people willing to work at it, then it will help. Now, please, family, share, like, and thumb up this video and share it with somebody because they need to know this because I'm good at this.
Yes. You have I know we're running short on time,
Yes.
so we have you have books
Mm-hmm.
and because this is some great information. So we
I'm having
need
fun.
to know how to get all of this.
I'm having fun. Now they can go to my link tree. You still have my link tree up there? Did you
Yes.
find
So
my
can
link
you
tree?
post that again? Okay, here it is.
Yeah, that link tree you can go. It's well, it's cut off in the link, but it's link tree King Simon / King Simon the Numero Veda. All
Mhm.
my books is on sale. All my website links, all of that is on sale. And I got like I said, I got 4 books, and I'm writing 6 more. This is one of my first books here. This is numbers us. No promotion is bad promotion. If you want to learn about my promotional life and how to promote your own business from a small to a big level, I also show you how to get sponsors and all that in this book. Then
Mhm.
my first numerology book was Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated was my first numerology book. And then the third numerology, the third book was called Numbers Are Simple, Children's Health is Important. That deals with numbers and how to recognize any possible ailments that might come to your body because you're born. Like you born on a 2, you have to pay attention to your stomach. Be careful where you eat, who you eat from.
Mm,
Drinking a lot of water is important for a number 2 like yourself. And the
okay.
intestinal tract, because you're Virgo also, which is
Yeah.
ruled by the number 5, also rules the intestinal tract. You have to, I talk about it in the book.
Okay.
And then my last book is called Numerovation for Mental Stability, a numerovational guide to recognizing mental instability and staying motivated. This was released in 2020. In this book, family, I point out the primary numbers from my study and my research of all these patterns. The primary numbers that has proven itself over time in celebrity and all of that, even people that have taken their life. I mentioned it in the book. The primary numbers is the number 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3.
Mm,
Those are the mental health numbers, and mental health can go either way, whether positive mental health or
mhm.
negative mental health. But I try to keep you motivated. Remember, I put a disclaimer in all my books. I am not any licensed medical mental health practitioner. No, I am not. Dr. Africa was. Many
Mhm.
people that I know, Dr. Alicia Boyce Watkins' wife, is. So many people that I know, but I made sure I showed it from the mathematics and the numerology of it and show you how to recognize the motivational part of it to keep your mind motivated. But it's up to you to do the work and unpack it for yourself. I still got 10 minutes if you need me for 10 minutes, sister. Go ahead. I can still got 10 minutes.
Yeah, so, you brought up
Mhm.
the kids. So, what are some things that you can do with kids kinda to help them, as far as, like, the science of numbers? Is there something
Mm.
that you can do? Because I know
Of
you said
course.
that you don't, necessarily read adults, but you said you do
I
what
do break down, do numerovational sessions for children, or especially usually when an adult pays for it, pay for my session, I do their child for free, a basic for the free, just their birthday. I don't need the name and all that, but if they want to do the name in full, then I can do that.
okay.
But I try to really let when people send me like a newborn, I'll say I want you to discover something about the child first before you bring them to me
Mm,
because it's so important that you get to innately know what the child is about.
mhm,
Because the first GPS is the intuition.
mhm,
That's the first GPS. I'm just confirming a lot of stuff with my
mhm,
numbers. They're just confirming their stuff with astrology. But astrology got a little bit more intricate because they looking at your longitude and latitude and the time you're born and all that. But some people come and say they don't even know their time. Some people don't even remember where they was born. Some
mm,
people don't come. Some people come from one part of the world to another part of the world and don't even and change their name and change their whole birthday.
mm,
Again, you when you're in Rome, you do as Romans do. That's all about. But
mhm,
when it comes to children, I even spoke about it in the numerovation for mental stability because when it comes to children, each one of the numbers from 1 to 9 or
mm,
1 to 31 represents a factor that you can at least introduce to them and find and see that they gravitate to. So if a
yeah,
person is born like I'm born on the 1st of February, so
mhm,
I naturally gravitated to be at the first of the class or the front of the gang or be first to do this or first to do that in my family and all that kind of stuff. That's just a natural. See,
yeah,
you being born in the 2, you was probably, more sensitive, more intuitive. You probably dreamt a lot, and your dreams was probably very vivid as a child, if I'm
mhm.
making any sense.
Yes, you are,
I'm
like, you
just saying. I'm just saying how this works. I'm just showing you. If you're born under the number 3 children are more dancers and they like music. You start seeing them bopping from a young age, feeling it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? If you're number four, fours are usually hold things in and they hold it in there, hold it. They won't tell you unless they really trust you. Like your husband born under number four, you're not gonna tell his secrets unless he trusts you. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Then if you're born on number five, they love their freedom to move and do what they want to do and have fun and dance and enjoy themselves. But you got to protect them from addiction. There's positive addiction and negative addiction. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Then if they're born under number six, and I look at number 2, 6, and 8, and I always tell the children, the parents that have children born under them, I said, look, man, pay attention to their teachers, the babysitters, and all that, because sometimes in my studies, the 2, 4, 6, and 8s have been molested the most,
mm,
fondled, you know what I'm saying,
mhm,
in their lifetime. I've seen it. And then, I've gotten LGBTQ people that comes to me and they ask me certain questions, and I see a certain amount of numbers that can attract that type of thing in their numbers,
mhm.
and that's usually 5 or 9,
Right.
usually, and 3 on another lower level. So, or if something detrimental happened to them, that that can be attracted to, that could pull that out of them, especially the even numbers, because sometimes the even numbers go through molestation and rape and all that kind of stuff, and it
Mhm,
brings them to that's the reason they'll say, oh, I was traumatized by my uncle, my daddy, and all that kind of, they go through that. So I see
mhm.
all of that in the numbers. So each one of the numbers can give a guiding and also recognize what's the possibilities of the negative that might come towards them also, so you
That's
can
very
pay attention.
important.
That's
Mm,
very important, because I
mhm,
knew a young lady. She's beautiful now. She's about, what, 16, 17 now. She's born the 6th of the month. I won't say a full birthday, but she's born on the 6th. And she was a little girl at 6 years old, showing you the patterns,
mhm.
being molested by her teacher in the closet.
Oh.
The teacher licking her for JJ.
Mhm,
What? At 6?
mm,
These things happened. And I know one of my ex-wives told me about certain things with their father, their stepfather. And then they got, you hear so much. Another
mm,
person born under the number 8 told me they got raped in the hallway. So and so I keep on seeing the patterns amongst my friends, celebrities, this, that. Now I can teach about it. Now I can analyze and break it down and show them what it is and what they need to be alerted from. Because this is some serious stuff. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So, and we're in a mentally crazy society. We are behind enemy lines. Let's be real. We are
Mhm,
behind enemy lines, but I'm not behind enemy lines mentally or
mhm.
spiritually. Don't be behind enemy lines spiritually or mentally, to tell you that. So I'm glad that all these modalities are coming back to the forefront, that they've been hidden, because a lot of this stuff was secret. A lot of
Yeah.
this stuff you get your tongue cut off to talk about.
Yeah.
We got to remember that when Alexander the Great and the Greek and the freak and all of them was coming in, they was cutting off because they didn't understand. They named it Egypt when it was called something else. They
Mm,
named this when it was called something else. They named Ethiopia when it was called something else. We're not paying attention that these people do that. That's why we got to honor our ancestors. We got to
right.
honor our ancestors. That's why I want a shirt to show my sister, hey, I'm here to honor these ancestors up
Yes,
in this piece.
yes.
Any questions? I'm sorry. You got 5 more minutes,
Yes.
I know.
Yeah, and we're gonna wrap up.
Ain't no
But
problem.
yeah, I know a lot of us in our community, we battle fear. I don't think we can really, like, we can't really get to where we need to go, our purpose, right? Because we're
Right.
battling fear, we're battling finances, we're
Hmm.
battling all these things. So do you think the fear um is before it affects us aligning in our purpose?
Hmm.
um does it affect us being able to um create our reality and not having to struggle? Because I know there's a lot of people who are struggling. There's in
Hmm.
recession and all that different kind of stuff.
Right.
So what is something that we can do for self when it
Right.
comes to fear, and then as a collective?
One thing, because according to MIT study years ago, it says the two known fears, Sister Ma'at, is the
Mhm.
fear of falling and the fear of a loud sound.
Mm.
Whatever else you've inherited over the years is what you inherited. That's why in the military they teach you, they do the whole simulated war. They
Mhm.
dropping bombs and everything so the soldier can be more proficient throughout the war. They don't
Right.
want you scared and crying as soon as a bomb drop and
Mhm.
shooting guns over you when you doing the crawl and the ground crawl. And then they throw you out of planes and helicopters and underwater so you can overcome those fears because they know, as most motivational speakers, and I'm a new motivator, everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Mm.
Everything. And fear is good to harness, but you got to learn to harness and redirect it because I'm a disaster preparedness instructor for over 20 years. So we had to understand how to harness fears when 9/11 went down and when Sandy went down and when this went down and prepare. Always learning how to prepare yourself. In numerology, the word fear in the Pythagorean system adds up to a 21, which is a 3, which deals with expression and expansion and anxiety. So now we need to learn how to find balance to fight against anxiety and that type of expression when it comes to us. Is it easy? No, I'm never going to say it's easy. But in the Chaldean system, the word fear adds up to 16, which is a 7, which is something we need to research, but it's also telling you in order for you to be successful, you got to plan what you do because the number 16 is a number that can be fatal or suffer from fatalities if they don't plan. So in order for you to overcome your various fears, you got to be able to plan what you need to do and
Mhm.
then express what you need to do, and that first fear will go over. It's just like the first time you ever jumped the rope. You're scared to jump in, and it's like, wait a minute, and
Mhm.
then you jump in, and then now you're like, oh, okay, I got this. Oh, when you first rode a bike, you falling all over the place, and then all of a sudden you got the bike. You start overcoming the fear by planning your mind to accept the outcome of learning how to ride, because the 7 in the fear aspect is a mental is a in numerology, the number 7 is also the meditation and the manifestation. So whatever you got to go back into to overcome those fears and fight those fears, you got to do it through either meditating on what you want the outcome to be, especially in relationship and family and business. Is it hard? Is it easy? No, it's not easy, because a lot of us were taught by our first mind controllers, our mother, our father. Some of us got this fear in the seed, the sperm, in the egg,
Mm.
everywhere, in the bloodline. Let me tell you one story before I finish. The last time I thought about taking my life, very deep. My and that was the last time I ever thought about it after my father told me, yo, your great grandfather took his life
Mhm.
in the bloodline.
Mm.
When I
Mhm.
look now, nobody remembers his birthday, but when I did his numbers to his name, it added up to 22. And what did I say? One of the primary numbers is the number 4, and 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Right.
I was thinking about doing that in one of one of my mental cycles. I think it was either my 4 or 7 year cycle that I was going through, because I thought,
Mhm.
although I was a club DJ on radio, on television, and I could be happy I wasn't really happy there in the club. So I was
Mm.
willing to take myself. So when my father told me that, that's when I said, oh, ooh, there's something I have to break that cycle.
Yes.
Because I don't call anything curses. I call them hard lessons that needs to be flipped into a blessing. Thanks to people like Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike always say, flip it. Don't
Mhm.
don't claim spending money. I don't spend money. I circulate money.
Ah.
We gotta circulate like Tai Chi. We doing all of this yin and yang and showing the balance. Circulate do the yin and yang with your mommy, your money. If you put it out there, it's supposed to come back in a
Right.
wholesome fashion. And
Mhm.
that's what I've learned to do over time. And if my children get it, beautiful. If they don't get it, they'll get it. Hold my grandchild. I got 12 grandchildren. One of them gonna get it. They gonna get it. I made sure we had enough.
Right.
So I'm just saying, I said that because I found it in the lineage. My great grandfather took
Mhm.
his life
Mm.
in the house that my aunts and them had right there in Brooklyn, New York, when we came from Jamaica. And it was over a relationship, over a woman that was fooling around behind his back.
Mm.
So I wrote that in the book. It's in the book.
Okay.
Well, I ain't playing. I got to show people that I'm human too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
my sister, it's been a pleasure. I didn't want to end like on that note, but it's just to
No,
show them
it
their
has.
growth.
Thank you so much, and I do hope to have you back.
Sure, sure.
I love your energy. It's great.
Well,
So,
me and your husband is Aquarius, so you know what that is.
oh yeah.
We there, son. We there.
Yeah.
I love it. I love your energy too. My sister's a
Thank
Virgo, matter of fact.
you.
One of my sisters is a Virgo, and Virgo's in my chart somewhere.
Well, thank
Somewhere.
you for giving me more time, and I know you have to
Sure.
go, so
Yes, all right. No
thank
problem.
you.
No
I'll
problem,
I'll
sister.
see you next time.
All right. Hotep, peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum. Take care, family. Peace. All right.
Thank you. Okay, family, thank you. So that I'm gonna go through just go through the chat, see if anybody had anything to say. Tell me what you thought about that conversation. He was great. He dropped a lot of a lot of things on us today. So I really enjoyed that conversation. Let me know what you thought of it, or if you are watching this after it's live, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. So I'm just gonna go through some of these. Um oh, she said okay, wasn't ready. I know that was a bit much. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, he it's real like and I think what's amazing about it is that we have so many tools at our disposal so that we can correct so many things like what he said about the the generational effects and how we can correct these things if we know what to do, just to know that those numbers and how significant they are in knowing what the trajectory of you. And like he said, it's not it's not like fortune telling, but it's just those energies. And so we talk about those things all the time, right? Like we talk about energy, we talk about like frequency, names. That's why people change their names, right? They change their name to now start embodying the different frequencies. And so understanding that, so when you have a child, whether it's a newborn, whether it's a toddler, a child, we can start understanding the trajectory and having, not putting fear in them, right? We don't want to put fear in our children, but we do want to say, okay, well, there's some precautions that we might need to take. You might need to keep a better, more of a better eye for certain things, or just even knowing that their purpose might align with these, with certain things. And just like he said with the master number, which I thought is very interesting. People who have master numbers, a lot of times they never get to those master numbers because they don't know how, whatever, they might go to the low, like the low vibration, the low frequency of the number. So, like a master number would be 22, and instead of going to that 22, you go to that you're at that 4 most of your life. So that's very interesting. I really enjoyed the conversation. I hate that he had to go, but I will have him back so he can discuss some more of that with us. And let's see. So Taylor Nubia, she said the sperm holds the spirit, which is the father line. Yes. So that's the thing. They both have energies in the egg, in in the sperm, and also in the womb, right? So the womb carries a lot of um energy, and a lot of time, for most of us living in a stressful nation that we live in, we are carrying a lot of negative energy in our womb. And where does that go? It goes in the child, so we have to understand how to even correct that. I'm going to be doing something along that lines to kind of combat some of those things. So I'll be doing that in the future, because I think one of the biggest things that we need to be talking about is wound health. And I know, like, Queen Afua, right, she talks about wound health a lot. But we do need to really have these conversations, and the girls need to care about their womb, and the boys need to care about the womb as well, and about themselves as well. So these are conversations and things that we need to be teaching our children. Yes, Reverend Ike was so ahead of his time. Yes. Yes, I remember listening to him as well. Very, very good. And it was I'll go to YouTube and I'll listen to some of his things from time to time. Let's see. Um, Cheryl Lee, thank you for sharing. Of course, thank you for coming. I don't even know if I said hello to you, but peace to you, Cheryl Lee. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Nova Rain. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Thank you, Hanifa. I enjoyed that conversation. Well, next week I will have another brother on, and we're going to be having a conversation about his book as well, and we're going to be talking about some things. Um, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spill what it is just yet. And then the third week we'll be having a panel discussion about us working together, even if we follow different spiritual belief systems. And then the last week, I will end on my journey and talk about that as well at the end of the month. So I just wanted to have some good spiritual conversations because I feel like right now it's in that time where we need to be discussing spirituality, and I might throw some lives in here and there. Just if I feel like going live, I might go live and kind of how I'm throwing some other things and throwing some videos and things like that, because I really think that this is a time where I want to focus on not just myself spiritually, but us as a community. And I think we just have a lot of healing to do around that. So with that being said, I do see Leo came through. Peace to you. I appreciate you being here. But yes, everyone share this information because um, the information he shared today was amazing. It was amazing information. I learned a lot, and I do think that that's information, especially that we can pass on to the next generation. So I'm not going to hold your time any longer. I That's all I wanted to share today. If you have any questions, if you want to reach out, remember that you can contact me on my email at speakmyaunt@gmail.com. Also, don't forget that you can go to my website, Generational Health Revolution, or follow me on Instagram, Generational Health Revolution, as well. And don't forget that you can donate to the channel in multiple ways. And I appreciate all of you for being here tonight. And I will see you next time. With that being said, peace, family. See you next time.